Dr. Bob Johnson, a sad day to see you go, but I must admire your principles. It's a rare sight to see a doctor stand up to this system.
Pioneering psychiatrist Bob Johnson treated Charles Bronson 30 years ago. When his work was halted, Bronson wrote this letter.
You believed in humanity and trust. Your way obviously worked.
Bronson was jailed in 1974 for armed robbery. Apart from a couple of brief periods of freedom, he's been locked up ever since because of repeated attacks on prison staff and inmates. The parole board must decide what risk he might pose to the public.
The parole board should say, this man has been locked up for 50 years, he has 50 years of problems, his violence and his unruly behaviour is out of our... We've decided that that's low enough risk, which I would think it probably is, but the transition, as we just said, from 50 years inside to outside life is going to be very, very dramatic.
Bronson's serving a life sentence for taking a prison art teacher hostage in 1999. Though he didn't hurt him physically, his victim still suffers mentally from the trauma.
He has an incredible violent streak, and it's very, very risky to release people like that. And also then, what happens if he is released? You know, the monitoring, all the, you know, he's going to be on a life licence, we know that. But it's a very dangerous man who could be released into society, you know, very shortly.
Recently, in a voice message from his cell, Bronson, who now calls himself Charles Salvador, summed up his frustration at his continued imprisonment.
I've never murdered anyone. I've never raped anyone. What am I in jail for?
Last week he sent a postcard, an everyday glimpse of freedom. He urged the parole board to show compassion for his mother. It's her lifelong dream, he wrote, to see me free and happy. Martin Brunt, Sky News.